Bastards! Today I'm going to do another movie review. Yeah, so today we're going to do a review about the survival mistakes or the good points from the movie I Am Legend. Already read the book of it, and I must say it's one of my favorite books actually. I guess the book is very different from the movie, so uh, that's something to keep in mind. But we will see how apparently Will Smith do around in this movie. So let's see about it. So apparently they made some sort of a cure for cancer, which it turned out to be very well, and then they turned into the people who were cured with those things. Uh, they started to get some sort of the disease that turned them into some sort of zombies. In the book, it's vampires. Here, it's clearly some zombies, and yeah, that's something to think about, because yeah, the cure of today could be an illness of tomorrow. So that's a good way to be very carefully about new treatments or products, not only products but also some sort of food materials that can be lethal in in longer times in someone's life or generations even. We think about asbest, which is a good example of this kind of long-term effects. Yeah, so that's good. That's something to think about. The next thing we see is a New York that is totally abandoned. Um, it's very good portrayed in this movie. We see all these construction buildings that were stopped. We see grass, weeds, plants going all over the city, which is good. Not as much as one would think would happen, but yeah, it's for the movies, and yeah, I know I'm nitpicking on this part, but yeah, it's kind of neat. What I found odd is you saw Will Smith. Yeah, his character is called um, how do you say it? Neville, and yeah, he's just driving around in New York. Like it's an open rally, but I can assure you, in a city where millions of people just try to get out during some sort of evacuation, there will be cars from the first hour stopping, be left over from trafficking, and people got out and went on by foot if there is such a threat like this sort of zombies. So that's something to think about. You cannot just drive around. Every road will be blocked with cars that are in a traffic jam, that were abandoned, that were had some damage that they could not go further, or their gasoline was running out. So the roads would be packed unless this Neville, I will call him Will Smith, unless Will Smith here cleared every road. But yeah, he would have been very busy in all those years, I would say. So yeah, it's that's something that I found odd about this scene, that he's just driving around, and yet again, it seems like the pandemic, what I say, yeah, the zombie outbreak has been a long time, as if plants can take this much over of New York. So how does he still find gasoline that is not been uh, decayed? Because gasoline, uh, even if you use additives, can only function for maximum 2 years or something, because it's a refined product. So I found it out that he still has some gasoline, and that yeah, that he has batteries in his car. Yeah, I just find it odd. What, my dude? So, I got several problems with this scene. First of all, you if you want to hunt deer, which is already a weird thing to see in New York, even with all the plants, um, yeah, just park your car somewhere and go hunt by foot because you will be more silent. You have all these deers, you have a rifle, so just get out and hunt by foot. You don't need to show your skills from the movie Bad Boys with Will Smith. So yeah, that's a stupid way to hunt because yeah, those deers can hear very far. Ever hunt deer in the woods? Even just the tiniest sound, the tiniest smell, they notice and they will get out. They are flight animals. So let alone that you're driving what is this? A Mustang with V8 powered turbo engines. I don't know nothing about cars, but these things will be chasing every deer away in just the 5 kilometer radius. That's stupid. Uh, Second stupid thing, he tried to shoot some deers with his rifle from the car with this. Yeah, if he would have shot, two problems. Three actually. First, the shot will be loud. His ears, he doesn't have ear protection, and he's holding the rifle right next to his face, right in front of his ears. So he will be deaf if he would have fired. Um, Second, the burned gunpowder everywhere that shot, and the gunpowder, the burned gunpowder would spent with the case, it would flown right in his eyes, especially with the wind and the speeds that he's going through. So he could have been risked being blind. Third problem, ejection of the shells. If it would fly, if it would fly that way, it could still bounce off against the front window and go back in his face. And I can tell you, a spent case from a rifle that has just been fired, it's very hot. You can burn your skin. So that's the third danger. Fourth danger, I will say, if I know that is very late in the apocalypse, so there is a chance that this rifle is not as good maintained as usual. He's a military in this movie, but yet again, every firearm can have a malfunction and even explode because of bad ammunition. So if it was shot, you would have bad ammunition, and the barrel exploded. It would have been right in front of his face, so he could have been blinded yet again, even more severe than with the burnt powder that could just do some superficial damage. But this exploding barrel or something that can really fuck up your face. So yeah, I don't like this scene very much. Just go by foot, Will. Oh boy. All right. Uh, Will here has finally made the good decision to hunt by foot. So he was probably tired that the deer ran away from his car. Big shocker. Yeah. So yet again, this deer he could get just a few meters away from the deer to sneak up on it, but I call bullshit on that. If even if the wind was with him, that the deer wouldn't smell something weird, the noise of him or his dog, yeah, I could hear it. The deer would have heard it certainly with his footsteps and his jacket. So that and even the sling of his rifle. So those the deer would he would not have snuck up this close to a deer. Uh, yeah, but yeah, before he took the shot, you saw that a lion caught the deer just a few seconds in front of him before he did. And yeah, I guess these lions escaped from the New York Zoo. I guess. Otherwise, I could not explain why there is a female lion, a male lion, and a small pup lion. Yeah, so those must be escaped. And yeah, with that much deer driving around in New York for meat, because that's something I think about. Holy shit, there were like how many 30 deers just in the same street. No, 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 no. A deer in the natural woods, which they have like each deer has his own living habit, living spaces that he is dominant about, because deer fight about territory and females. So yeah, it would only be a few deers around in perhaps whole New York. I would say, the city. I mean, just for competition for mating, for food, oat and such. Yeah, and even with apparently the zombies also eat the deer, so it's not only Will Smith. Uh, how can they thrive this good when there are so many predators around here? Talking about predators, you saw Will Smith didn't kill the lion because he's feeling alone as the last man on Earth, as he thinks, and yeah, he feels pity with the little cub and the parents of the lion parents, but yeah, how how bad this it would be to shoot those animals. Yeah, if you're competing for not only deer, but also one day these lions could try to cut you off guard, because they even surprised Will. He is lucky that the lion did not catch him instead of the deer. So someday these lions will be a threat to you. So when you have the chance, shoot them before they form a threat to you. I know it sounds. Peter will not like me saying this, but yeah, it's a danger about predators. It's about who's hunting who. So you don't want to be the hunted one. So if you get a chance, take out that. I know it's a primal way of thinking, but I'm thinking about survival here, especially when I'm all alone and I got nobody to watch my back except for my dog. But if I'm wounded by a lion, that dog will not suture my wounds. So, and my last comment about this scene is just even if he would have hit the deer, he would have meat. It would have taken such a long time to get into his car because his watch went out. So that means that he's got to go back before it gets dark and the zombies get out, because they only come out at night for some reason. Uh, yeah, so instead of fucking around and driving around and scaring away all the deer all day, he could have started by just hunting by foot in the beginning, drag it to his car, and he would have meat for a long time. Uh, yeah, so bad timing. Yeah, that's what I want to say about this scene. All right, I like his survival strategy already. He has a stock, he has a food stockpile. Yeah, very good, very good. He seems everything in order. He has generators. Still don't know where he gets the gasoline after all this time. So, if I was him, I would try instead of driving around, using up your last gasoline for chasing deer that's run away. I would try to make a way to get electricity by another means than gasoline that will run out or be bad in a certain time period. So I'm thinking about some bicycle, some bicycle and batteries that you can use to charge in the night when he needs to close down everything. So that way he can keep busy, keep in shape during the night while charging these things up. Um, yeah, so that's something I would have done instead of gasoline generators. You can still use those, but more for emergency situations. Um, yeah, he's got a good pantry. He's cooking and he's trying to. And this is a part that I like actually. He's trying to live as normal as possible, even when he's alone and only has his dog. He's trying to cook like it's just a normal day. He sets on news reports that were recorded before, so it's something to make to remind him of the times before, to keep him sane, to keep him sane, and yeah, he talks to his dog. He's having a meal, so that's good for a mentality, especially when you're a long time alone in some sort of isolation. It's not I'm not only talking about the Will Smith character here, but also in just regular survival situations when you're waiting for rescue for a long time, when you're bugging in and you are isolated, a lockdown perhaps. All those things, a person who's in isolation a long time can grow mad. We think about people who are incarcerated in prisons and are put in isolation. They will That's a big punishment because they will grow mad without human contact, because humans are social animals. So yeah, this is a very good coping mechanism from the Will Smith character here. All right, like we said, these zombie creatures only come out at night, and yeah, at sundown, Will Smith starts to close off everything with some sort of I'm sorry, storm blinders. It's like metal plates that is closing off every window, every door. That's good. That's a good fortification with the things that he's got. Yeah, I I don't have a problem with this. What I find odd is he apparently he still goes in hiding in the bathtub for some reason with his dog. Probably because yeah, in to that those creatures who are nearby, because you can hear them just outside screaming around, that they perhaps not hear him. But yeah, if I was this Will Smith around here, yeah, I would try to make a certain room soundproof, then that I can still spend the night in a meaningful way. Like I said before, charging up batteries with a bicycle that is connected to a dynamo and a battery or something for making electricity, uh, doing some perhaps some work, because if you have to spend from dusk till from night till dawn in a bathtub, yeah, that's a weird way to sleep, especially because he has his weapon, his dog being next to him. So I don't think he has that good sleep, and it's very important in a survival situation to have a good way of sleep. So uh, let's recap the mistake. Instead of hiding in the bathroom, try to make a certain room more soundproof, that you can do whatever you want and sleep with them more rested, because he can still hear the creatures. That is some sort of psychological stress that will come if you keep hearing these creatures, and will make you keep you up most time of the night, and you will need your sleep. So that's a big mistake at the end. But the the bugging in, the fortification, good, very good. All right, I got a few big problems with this scene, but I will say first the good things. Good things, he keeps in shape. Very good in a if you're in a lockdown kind of situation, to keep in shape, keep your body at health. Very good, very good. He has a lot of books in the background, so he keeps himself busy. Not only with it's I don't think it's only like books for relaxation, but probably also manuals that he perhaps has. So that's good. And now for the bad part. He has a basement. So first of all, yeah. Oh wait, one more good point. He wakes up with a gun next to him in case he gets attacked. But why you sleep in the bathtub first? That didn't make any sense. If it, when he like was he like, oh, I don't hear any monsters anymore, I will go to my regular bed now. No, wait, what? That is a very weird way that he's playing his daily life around here. All right, and now my biggest problem with this scene: he has a basement. I said before, what's the point of going into the bath in that bathtub all night with a gun, and waking up in that same morning with a gun next to you in a regular bed for some reason? When you have a basement, just hide in the basement. There is even a more extra layer to defend yourself when, in case the zombies things break in. That this does not make any sense. Sleep in the basement, Will. I know you're probably scared in the basement, but sleep in the basement. You will have a better sleep than upstairs in the bathtub. I can guarantee you that. I like this scene because it explains how lonely uh, Will Smith, alias Neville, is in this movie because he thinks he's the last person, perhaps on the planet, for all he knows. It's the same thing in the book, and yeah, I like it that he's trying to make everything so normalized to keep his sanity. He placed mannequins all over, like when he goes to the library, he participates like he's meeting people. He talks to the mannequins, have regular conversations with them, to keep in a way is to keep his sanity. I like that how this is portrayed around here because I think a lot of people will try to find some sort of coping mechanism when they are all alone. Yeah, so I like the scene. What I especially like is they showed him that he's growing corn in the middle of the city. It's probably hard to do. Allez, not that hard perhaps because there is no competition, but yeah, it's good that he's trying to do this in a way. So he has a some crop that he can rely on when there is food out. He can reuse the seeds that from that harvest to keep food in a to keep food for even a longer time. He's thinking about the future. That's a good way. That means that he also thinks about long-term survival, which is something I very like. And in the last part, you see that he's crossing out buildings on a map that he's trying to scavenge. So I'm thinking that most of the days he's trying to scavenge and sweep buildings one by one in the hope to find some good stuff that he can use for his survival. Yeah, that's very good. But my only problem with this is Heavy's going around doing these things and this scavenging. Shouldn't he have a bigger bag? I think a backpack or a cart that you can ride around like a travel suitcase on wheels to or a person cart to get more stuff with you that you find in your scavenging and put it in your car and drive back. But he only has this his shoulder bag with him, so there is not much that he can fit in there. So if he finds the mother load of food, yeah, he can go back the second day. But yeah, if he finds something big and good like a like a jerry can of gasoline, perhaps, yeah, he will not fit that in his pocket. So yeah, that's my only problem with this thing. So no problem. It's good. It's good. All right, he's scavenging a building where a former survivor was that has died, I think. And yeah, he gathers around and he's mostly looking for conserves. He found some spam. So yeah, I wonder why when there is still those things and nothing else left, it's kind of weird. But yeah, it's very good. He found a lantern that he can charge up with his generators, perhaps. Yeah, very good. But he takes a bottle of alcohol with him. Uh, I know that he in this movie the character Neville is apparently a biologic army guy that works with biological weapons or something. He's a doctor or something, and yeah, he takes alcohol with him. With yeah, you can use alcohol for disinfecting and sometimes for relaxation. But if you're in the state of a Will Smith around here, and you think you're the only one, and you need mannequins to cope with your loneliness, yeah, it's a very bad way to be tempted to drink too much. You will make mistakes and you will die because you fall from the stairs with your drunken head, or you make a mistake and you get caught by a zombie or a lion, perhaps, like we said in the beginning. Yeah, though taking that bottle is a risky move, even though yeah, I just want to say it's a risky move, especially when he's vulnerable like this. Yeah.
York City. I am broadcasting on all AM frequencies. I will be the South Street seaport every day at midday when the sun is highest in the sky. If you are out there, if anyone is out there, I can provide food. I can provide shelter. I can provide security. If there's anybody out there, anybody, please, you are not alone.
All right. So he explains that he does a radio broadcast every day to ask people who are perhaps listening to this frequency that he will be at a certain spot in the middle of the day to to help people, that he says that he has food, he has knowledge, he can provide shelter, in hope that some of the other survivors will come to him. uh, yeah, this is understanding in this situation. It's a very, very good move, actually. Uh, yeah. So what we can learn from this is always have a way of communication. If it's ham radio, CB radio, citizen broadcast radio, even a simple walkie-talkie can perhaps catch up with some other survivors' communication network if you're close enough. So that's some a good way to think about this. He can also leave boards behind where he can draw directions and make it seem like it's been made recently for if a survivor would pass and have not a radio. So that would also be a good strategy above the together with the radio signals. So that way he has more chance when a random survivor without a radio would pass by and know about his yeah, call for help in a way. So yeah, I like this scene. Yeah. So this was a flashback to when his child and wife was evacuated. Here we can learn from the chaos with an evacuation. We all remember the scenes that happened with the evacuation from Saigon during the Vietnam War, where people were trying to get to pushing each other, trying to get over barbed wire walls, even face guns to get a place into the evacuation. Even in Afghanistan and even in airfields with such evacuations, and Afghanistan recently, people were so desperate they would cling on to the wheels of planes that were taking off. That was a desperation. Imagine in a city with it like New York with millions of people that try to evacuate. Yeah, it would be chaotic. So what we can learn from this is bug out early as possible, especially in such a situation, or try to preparate for bugging in for a long time. Uh, yeah, and don't go to these evacuation places, especially not in big cities, because it would be chaotic, it will be crowded, and a lot. There will be, like you. This is a good example actually. Uh, we saw that I'm talking about nepotism because some people who have perhaps money, power, a certain rank or position in the civilian life or military or politicians, perhaps, or CEOs, people with power and money, let's say. These people can skip the line in a certain way, like Will Smith did over here. The thing was, he wanted to get his wife through the checks because they checked if somebody was infected or not. I think it's a thermometer or something. But he's first of all, he got in front of the crowds. That's one thing. Second, his wife got a positive read, and then they wanted to take her away, but he with his power he said no, scan her again, soldier. They almost started to get into a fight, and yeah, it was apparently a false positive. But if there is a false positive, there is a chance that there is a false negative too. So yeah, that's that's not a certain way they check people that leave. So quarantine and evacuation is kind of tricky, I would assume, with this disease or virus. Second thing, another thing is protection. The military guys, they only wear as protection just surgical face mask, which is not that effective if nobody else wears a face mask in the crowd. So yeah, that would be mandated if you want to be evacuated, I would say. We also saw that one of a mother who was clearly infected because of her bleeding eyes tried to ask Will Smith to take her child with her in desperation. These are things that also could happen and take infected persons out of, especially children, out of the evacuation zone where they can get infect other areas. So that's also a possibility because even if you want to do good and help this child from this mother who is desperate, you can still fuck up a lot of people who are in safe zones that way. So yeah, it's heartbreaking, but yeah, it's not in an objective way. It's a bad thing to do, a bad move to make actually. So yeah, so that's something that we need to think about especially evacuations. Yeah. So, like I said in the beginning, where are all the cars that would flood the streets that were abandoned in traffic stops now? Especially if you see this scene. All right.
Very sometimes. Was it still dark when you brought us home last night? Turn the light off. Turn it off. They followed us home.
Uh, okay. Weird defense plan. He heard the monsters outside. Good thing he said first was turn the lights off before he peeked outside. Good way, yes. But the stupid thing is, well, all right. I will start with the second positive point. The moment he says they seem to followed him, him and her at their place, and attacking now. The woman, her first reaction was, "I need to find my kid." Uh, that's a good reaction when you're being attacked. Second, but this is the thing I find weird. Will Smith first had the lights to, yeah, to I don't know what kind of lights it were because it seems you would think that he would use UV lights to keep the monsters at bay, but it looked like regular lights, so they wouldn't have done much to the defense. It would seem just for seeing where they're coming from or something. That's kind of weird. And he rigged the whole perimeter around with explosives, but the explosives were so large that it blew away the storm blinders from the building. It even shook the whole building. Yeah, that was not a very smart move in a defense plan. Because even Will Smith here had almost popped his ears because of the blast. So that's realistic to show that even a blast from that distance could pop your ears, so you would have a lot of pain and even be deaf right now. But if I was Will Smith and would lay a defense perimeter around my place, I would not use such big explosives. I would try to, instead of big explosions, I would concentrate in a sort of claymore defense. A claymore mine is just a plate of explosives with all these metal balls in front, so the small explosive charge goes off in just a certain direction. So it's not a big explosion that will like here destroying their own building and defenses, but it's an explosive that will blast shrapnel in a certain direction. That would have been more effective than just blowing up everything to Kingdom Come. Yeah, he's an officer in the military. He should have known this. And even if it was improvised, he could have improvised a better defense than this, or at least placed the explosive higher, further away, or put something between him and the explosive to catch the blast wave and the shock. Yeah, perhaps even the shock would still have shaken the house, but yeah, it's a stupid way to place your explosives that way. It's just what I'm trying to say here. Uh, oh, sorry, I first needed to swallow that because I really needed with this scene. This could be such a good movie, but what have they done to you? You're All right. So some monsters got inside, and yeah, first mistake. Will Smith didn't pack. What do I mean by that? If I was in a zombie in a world where there were zombies, monsters, whatever, if there is a threat with monsters or even people that could harm you, first rule: always have a way of defense with you. He was just walking around with his clothes on, but if I was in such a situation, I would always have a holster with a pistol around my belt. If I would take a shit, if I would go into the shower, if I would just bend over because to see if it was dog shit I stepped on, I would always have a sidearm with me for self-defense in such a situation. First mistake. So yeah, because he blew up the blinders, the protective blinders, because he put the explosive too close to his defense, to his home. Yeah, monsters could get inside, and yeah, they for some reason they start to fight and throw him around like he was some sort of football, which is always weird. They do it in movies. So Will Smith fell off the stairs, and that's a good thing. He always had some weapons around in the house. In the beginning next to his bed, he had a weapon. When he was in the tub, he had a weapon. Uh, yeah, now he had a loaded machine gun, assault rifle in a box next to the stairs, which saved his life. That's a good way of thinking if you, but yeah, the problem is with monsters it's good, but if you do this with humans, if there is an attacker with only a pistol coming inside, a regular human, I mean, he could find weapons that you lay around everywhere. So if you're going to hide weapons lay weapons around in the house in case you get breached, do it on a hidden place if you fight against humans, invaders. But with monsters, yeah, it was a good call to keep it directly to retrieve. What I don't like is the way when he started to fire at a monster who hide in a room, instead of going inside of the room in a very careful way, no, Will Smith thought, I fuck this, I ain't going inside of the room. More explosive. He shot some sort of chemical stuff. The room exploded. It even hurted him again, so he survived. I think he has a fetish with explosives around this, which is a stupid way. First, there are multiple dangers by letting off an explosive in a room inside of your bunker, your fortification to say. First of all, you're in a room, so an explosion inside of a room is more deadly because the blast waves are more contained and can bounce off walls. So he would have been deaf with an explosion. Second, fire danger. So you cannot hide in here because you blew up a room and it will catch fire and it will burn down the house within 2 hours. Alright, and the third thing, uh, toxic. There's toxic smoke. It were chemicals he shot. So the moment the fire starts to burn, there will be toxic smoke, and he will not only deal with smoke dangers of suffocation by smoke, but also with the toxic waste, the toxic components that are in the smoke now, which is also a very stupid thing that he has done. And my last point is aim. If I hate this in movies where they just blindly shoot on automatic, like he forgot all of his training. He is a military. You saw, but instead of shooting one shot, semi-automatic or with double taps, perhaps to be sure. No, he shoots automatic. He shoots so automatic that yeah, he shot at least 200 bullets. If I estimate that clip is only 30 bullets, but he kept firing and firing, and then he was surprised that it was empty, and I didn't saw him reload. So that was very weird. You don't, if you're gonna shoot automatic, you will have mostly 2 or 3 seconds of continuous firing, and then it's already empty with modern assault rifles. Ah. And to conserve ammo, just shoot, aim, shoot, aim, shoot, aim, shoot. But no, he just kept automatic firing around like he was in freaking Call of Duty. So that's what I hate about this scene. this is a surprise ending because what I heard how this movie ends, yeah, I got spoiled. I got spoilers. Was that Will Smith sacrificed himself with gave the cure to the lady who escaped through some hatch or something, and he sacrificed himself by blowing himself up with the monsters that were almost breaking through the glass in the basement. Yeah, hero story it seems, but this is an alter. It seems like this is an alternative ending because here we see that Will Smith that they got cornered in the lab behind the glass. Monsters got all inside, and he gave the monster that he captured earlier. He gave it to the leader of the creatures because it seems that they were after him because they thought he killed her after kidnapping her. But when they saw they were still alive, Will Smith handed her over to the pack leader of the creatures, and they left. They just left without doing something to Will Smith because that's what they were after. And this, I like this scene. I like this ending because this is comes so close to the book. Because you see the it's going to be a spoiler right now. I'm going to spoil the ending, so if you don't want to hear it, just piss off. Uh, it's just like in the book. He realizes the Neville, the character Neville, realizes that all this time that he was killing monsters, he was killing friends, family, partners of the creature society because they're more intelligent than he thought they were, like just like in a book, and he realized that in their eyes he was the monster, and especially now because they saw all the pictures of the monsters that he captured and did experiments on to find a cure, and yeah, they left him alone even after they realized that, which is so much more impact because not only he realized that he was the monster, they also left him alone after all the things he did to their kind. Yeah, so they were more human than he was actually, if you think about it, which is a fascinating ending to me. Yeah, because in the book, Neville, there were feral vampires in the book, but there was also a mutation in the vampires where they were talking normal, acting like normal people, and they built up a new society without Neville knowing. So after they captured him, and they would give him a trial to because he killed so many of their kind. So in their eyes, they were the monsters. They were afraid of him, of Neville. So that's hence the title of the book and the film. I am legend. I'm the last of my kind. I'm a legend now. A lost legend of a last creature of a certain kind. So that's very fascinating in my eyes. This ending, yeah, I like it. Yeah, so this was the movie review about I Am Legend. Fascinating story. I prefer the book than the film with Will Smith here. But yeah, it's good. It's not bad, and it's not the best. But yeah, it's a nice movie. I would advise to look it. We can learn some things too from. We can learn one or two things too to not do. So yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this little review. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, leave a like, leave a reaction or something like that. Thank you for watching, and I will keep doing this in so many episodes, a movie review, because I like doing these actually. So see you in the next video.